Yo, what's up, everybody? It's a weird morning, man. I'm having all kinds of issues. Um, so we're gonna try to push through this news segment, and we're probably gonna have to take a break in between it, and see if I can't get some of this stuff figured out. I don't necessarily think it's on my end. I think there's a lot of server issues going on right now, but I'm having a lot of issues, bots not working right, things like that. So, um, I want to try to get through this news segment though, and we'll. Sorry, that's why it's late. That's why it's late. Things were really wonky trying to get things started up this morning, and um, I'm not getting a lot of a lot of good info online about what might be happening. So, we're gonna push this news segment. Then I'll probably go ahead and take the stream down for a little bit while I try to do a little bit more research on what might be happening here. Try to get things sorted and bring it back up for the Witcher stuff. But let's go ahead and do what we do. Let's jump into this video gaming news, see what we can find. Okay. Good to see everybody. I hope your day is going very well. Sorry for the stream being late. It's just there's a lot of weird stuff going on this morning with trying to start everything up. Things not working, things not connecting, and I just had to try to get it to a state where I felt like we could at least just try to get the news done and then address afterwards, I guess. And here we are. So, um, let's get it. Let's get this news going. I don't even know if chat. I don't even know if my chat's working. Like, so I do apologize. Really, really weird situation this morning. I'm just gonna press though. I'm just gonna press. I don't think chat's actually working for me. Nope. But I got something to come through. Yeah, it's not working very well. That's for sure. I was trying to get some stuff working earlier and it wasn't working. Yo, Mamzelle, what's up? Good morning. Yeah. There's some really funky stuff going on this morning, man. It's not necessarily just it's not my side. It's there's some server issues happening apparently. So we'll push the news. I've definitely got some other plugins and stuff that aren't connecting. I think it has to do with some Twitch server stuff. So we'll just push. We'll push. And I don't know. Sorry guys. It's gonna be a bit of a wonky one. Random vote came up. I saw Mamzelle get in there and okay, it looks like it's working again. We'll see how long it lasts, man. We'll see how long it lasts. There you go. There you go. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know. It was really weird. We'll keep pressing. We'll see if we can get it done. Again, sorry for the stream being late and everything, but I was trying to figure out if it was my side or if it was Twitch's side or what was going on. And I really think it's Twitch's servers that are being wonky this morning. We kind of talked about this yesterday. It looks like there's actually an ad out for Xbox Cloud Gaming featuring Elden Ring. So we'll pull this up. But we kind of talked about the fact that it looked like that was coming yesterday. So understand this. Right now, none of the alerts, gifts, and stuff like that are going to be working on the channel. Okay, guys? Nobody's playing Netflix's games. We talked about that yesterday as well. Yeah, Steam Deck just keeps getting more and more games verified, meaning the games are actually optimized to be played. If a game's not verified on Steam Deck, it doesn't mean that it's not playable. It just means it's not optimized. So you might come, across some really wonky, weird situations with how the game runs. God of War Ragnarok causing developers to what? We'll see what that is. 16 versus 32 versus 64 gigs of RAM. Which one is better? We'll take a quick look at this. Better for gaming, I think. Um, Yo, Mamzelle, it's good to see you. Be safe getting to work. I hope you have a good day. I hope your shoulder's feeling okay. Better, anyways, at least. I'll tell you that I think about 5 years ago, 16 gigs was plenty. I think nowadays you're much better off, much safer using 32 gigs. And I think that what you should be looking to do is probably run two sticks of 32 gigs if you're not looking to go 64 yet. That way you can upgrade to 64 in the near future. Um, Games are becoming very hardware intensive. The more that technology evolves, and the more memory you have available, um, the better. So, especially if you're doing anything beyond gaming, if you're gaming and content creation, anything like that, the more processes you have going on, the more memory is going to be utilized concurrently through all those processes. So naturally, I mean, the more RAM you have, the better. But I can tell you that running 32 gigs myself, I'm like pretty consistently utilizing, I don't know, anywhere from like 50 to 65% of that RAM. And I would like to upgrade to 64 at some point in the future. So we'll take a look though and see what they have to say. $10 days, 10 games, $10 Best Buy sale kicks off with Call of Duty Vanguard. There we go. We'll take a look at that. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on PC makes me excited for games again. For Sony games again. Yeah, I'll say this. Before we even hop into that article, I think the big thing to I much more enjoy playing games on PC. And so my big thing that I want to see is how well are they going to be ported over, right? How well are these games going to be ported over that have traditionally been uh, PlayStation only games? Are they going to port over to PC well? I will say that Santa Monica Studios with God of War did a fantastic job of porting that game to PC last year. Uh, so good. It played so well. It was very, very well optimized. and it felt great. And I hope that that trend continues. Quite often, we'll see games get ported over to another platform where it's not legitimately optimized for that platform. It's just kind of pushed over, and you can tell that they didn't really take their time and optimize it specifically for that platform, and it feels bad. They'll have a lot of issues, a lot of bugginess, visual issues, stuttering, and frame drop, stuff like that. The God of War port was great. Let's pivot over real quick, see what our other search provides us this morning. Xbox has accused Sony of paying developers Game Pass block fees. All right, let's see what's going on there. Yeah, of course, Microsoft is going to say that their acquisition of Activision Blizzard is not anti-competitive, right? Because they want it to go through. Excuse me. Can you ever really own a video game? The pitfalls of digital ownership. Uh, yeah, that is definitely an issue. Um, as convenient as owning digital games is, if you lose connectivity, if that company's servers go down, anything like that, you might own those games, but where are those games? You know what I mean? Like you can't actually access them. But I mean, it's inevitable that we continue trending the way towards digital ownership, and I am not. I mean, to a large extent, I have transitioned over to having large digital collections, especially on PC. Because PC really incorporated it way before I think other platforms have, and but it's coming along the same way with consoles as well, and other platforms, and it's going to continue to happen. So, um, but it does create issues, right? It does. There is cause for concern there. Even with games that you might have downloaded, there are still with DRM stuff, and if the servers aren't up and it can't verify that you know wherever you actually own the game from, if it can't verify that you are in fact the owner of that game, whenever you load the game up it won't let you play it, and so it still requires connectivity quite often on the side of the platform that you're actually own the game through, and it's a it's a weird kind of scenario apart from what video games had traditionally been, and just being hard copies where you owned it, you installed it, or you just put it in to play it, right? And so it's where quite often on a platform like the Switch, I still go for physical copies of games quite often. On a platform like that, I enjoy having copies of the games more than I do just a digital library. But I mean, eventually, I think it's inevitable that we all end up just. I think that platforms are going to get less and less nice with giving access to physical copies of games, and eventually we'll just move into an entirely digital world of game ownership. That's just where it's headed. It's less resource intensive on the world as a whole, and I mean, you're still using server space and stuff like that, but it's still less resource intensive. Absolutely. Than everybody buying physical copies, right? So I don't know. There are issues with it that need to be worked out, but we're going there nonetheless. It's that's where we're going. Um, Unity wins contract to what? Is this a part of what we read yesterday? We'll see. Genshin Impact to become the most expensive video game. Ellipses. Let's see what's going on there. Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. Some news on that front. We're aware of it, but we got some more news apparently. A bit of an early review here on Cult of the Lamb. We talked about that yesterday. Basically, the creator of the Breaking Bad series wanted to collaborate with Rockstar Games in making a video game adaptation of the series, and Rockstar said no. PS4 reaches final sales total. Saints Row is supposed to be coming out really quick if it didn't already drop, right? We'll take a look. Looks like Roblox's stock has dropped 15% as of late. All right, let's stick with that. Let's stick with that. Let's see what we got. One moment. Xbox ad fueling Elden Ring GTA 5 Game Pass talk was just a bug, Microsoft says. Oh, we're aware of a bug that incorrectly displayed some titles as available with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. It was simply a bug that led to an ad incorrectly suggesting Elden Ring, GTA 5, and other games would be coming to Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft says. In case you missed it, several games, including those that we just mentioned, were spotted in store pages and ads supporting Xbox Game Pass and cloud gaming branding, which led to speculation that those games would soon be added to the subscription-based catalogs. However, in a statement to Eurogamer, Microsoft called this a bug and said a fix has already been rolled out. We're aware of a bug, quote, we're aware of a bug that incorrectly displayed some titles as available with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Said a Microsoft spokesperson, we rolled out a fix and this is now updated. Okay, so we read about this yesterday, which got a lot of people hyped up, thinking that maybe these titles were coming to Game Pass, but apparently Microsoft is shooting that down now. So we'll see if they're just trying to calm the waters, as it were, and maybe hype it back up in the near future, or if it was in fact just a an error. As of now, don't get your hopes up about those games being on Game Pass. God of War Ragnarok reportedly causing developers to move their games. God of War Ragnarok is reportedly such a titan of a game that other studios are moving out of its way and delaying their titles. God of War. That doesn't surprise me. God of War Ragnarok is easily one of the most anticipated titles on the horizon and is one of the games expected to be in the awards race at the end of 2022. The game was announced in 2020, just over 2 years after its predecessor was released, and was marketed as a key title for the then upcoming PlayStation 5. The game was then expected to arrive in 2021, but was delayed, something very few people were surprised by given how unrealistic that timeline seemed for the developers. Still a lot of mystery surrounding Ragnarok, but the game's release date was recently revealed and ensured that it would have a prime slot in the holiday season. With that said, according to Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny, developers and publishers may be scared of God of War Ragnarok. Geddes went on to note that he's had business calls with various people who said things that he was shocked by. He stated that developers, publishers were getting out of the way of God of War Ragnarok and pulling out of things. He didn't get too specific, but stated that it's all in service of giving God of War Ragnarok its space. Rightfully so. Given the game is expected to be a major contender for Game of the Year since its predecessor won the award last time around, it's understandable why some publishers may be trying to create distance between the PlayStation exclusive. Look, I know not everybody was a fan of the first God of War, necessarily. We played it in this channel when it came out on PC. We played it on Give Me God of War difficulty. It was amazing and is one of my top 5, I would say, all-time favorite games. It felt so good. I had such a great time playing that game. And I cannot wait to play Ragnarok. I just wish that it would drop on PC at the same time as PlayStation. That's what I need. Geddes didn't mention any titles or publishers, but Forspoken recently moved from October to January. Something fans speculated could be due to other releases this fall. Ubisoft recently scheduled Skull and Bones for a November 8th release, putting it just one day before God of War. And games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Gotham Knights were released several weeks prior. Also, Forspoken was supposed to release in March, if I remember correctly. Was supposed to release in March, then got delayed to October, and is now slated for January. So it's not like it's the first delay that Forspoken has had. So there's also that to add. I'm not surprised at that. I'm not surprised that we've got developers and publishers trying to provide a buffer zone for how successful Ragnarok is expected to be. I am not surprised by that. God of War is not going to be everybody's jam, but I will say, personally for me, my experience in God of War trumped Elden Ring. Not everybody's going to feel that way, but that was me. So I can't wait to get my hands on Ragnarok. I don't think we're going to be playing it day one, but very excited for it nonetheless. Not playing it day one means we're going to have to stay away from spoilers, though. So 16 versus 32 versus 64 gigs of RAM. Which one is better for gaming? The more you can have, the better. Okay, TLD, I'm just going to tell everybody this. The more you can have, the better. Especially if you're multitasking. Content creation, anything like that. If you tend to have a lot of tabs open on browsers, whatever, any kind of other software you're running, I mean, there tend to be certain pieces of software that are known to be memory hogs and others that aren't too bad. But the more processes in general that you have running, the more memory you're going to be utilizing. Quite often today, if I would say 32 gigs of RAM gives you a pretty solid cushion if the majority of what you're doing is just gaming. You've got a pretty good cushion there for overhead, and you're not going to be expending, you know, you're not going to be utilizing the extent of how much RAM you have. But I think people definitely need to start taking a look at probably working their way towards 64 gigs of RAM just for future. Random access memory, RAM, yes, is responsible for storing temporary data for quick use by your CPU, your central processing unit, and operating system. Having sufficient RAM means that your entire PC and gaming experience will flow smoothly without stuttering or freezing. Most gamers would be more than satisfied with the performance of 16 gigs of RAM. However, there are some specific gaming use cases where having more than 16 gigs of RAM would be required for a stable experience. There are no exact one-size-fits-all answers regarding how much RAM you need. This article will compare different RAM options, Yeah, I mean, look, there are a lot of different utilities and resources and things out there that you can utilize to kind of take a look at details regarding your hardware. And most of the time, what you're looking for is information regarding your CPU, your memory, and your GPU, right? Your graphics card. And just to see, mostly with memory, it's going to be how much are you utilizing, right? I mean, you can see right here, this is only 8 gigabytes of RAM that they've got total, and they're utilizing 6.7 of it. That's a lot. 85% of that RAM, right? Right. If you see that your RAM usage is above 80%, it's a clear indicator that you're close to maxing it out. I would say a safe way to kind of go about probably if you're hitting 50%, you're going to be okay. If you're teetering around that 50 to 60% line of RAM usage on the constant, whenever you're utilizing most of the applications in heavy workload and everything, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. But you want to make sure you have plenty of overhead. It's just kind of the same way with like your power supply unit, right? I mean, you don't want to be coming in at the exact level of power that you think you're going to need to run your CPU, your graphics card, all that. You want overhead. You want an amount of capital over what you're actually know you're going to be utilizing for fluctuations and stuff like that. So when a need for more draw comes in, you've got it. You're not going to end up running into issues of stuttering or maybe having your entire system shut down because it doesn't have the resources it needs to process, and it just goes into like a shutdown state or whatever, or programs just shut down because they can't utilize what they need, what have you. Keep in mind that even if a game alone uses less than 80% of your RAM, you have to factor in another 4 to 5 gigs of RAM used by your background processors or applications such as browser tabs, Discord, other apps you might be running parallel to gaming, right? Like I was saying, if you're only gaming, you're not going to have a whole lot more, right? But anything else you do, especially if you're doing things like content creation or video editing or you've got lots of tabs open. Discord, everybody uses Discord nowadays, right? It's important to take a look at where your memory is sitting, how much CPU usage, heat levels, even just occasionally. You don't have to monitor it all the time, but take an occasional look and see where you're at, right? Know what your processor, your CPU should be hitting under heavy load for thermals, for heat. Same thing for your GPU. Look at how much memory you're utilizing. It's good to know those kinds of things about your system. It's a good rule to always leave a couple of gigabytes of free RAM as a buffer. Again, I would say a really good rule of thumb to go about is have about 20, even 30% of buffer RAM, free RAM to utilize just in case there's something spikes up and needs to grab a big chunk of RAM sometime. And look, the thing is, from game to game, you utilize different amounts of RAM. Games are different. Every game is different, right? Every program's different. Having 16 gigs of RAM is the golden standard for current PC gaming builds. I think that's changing, guys. It used to be 16. I think that we're very much into the realm of where golden standard is much more along the lines of 32 gigs of RAM nowadays. Since RAM has become such much more affordable over the last few years, running anything less than 16 gigs for modern games makes little sense. Even if other PC parts are up to par, having anything less than 16 gigs will give you plenty of micro freezing and in-game stuttering. To bring things into perspective, modern titles like Cyberpunk and the latest Call of Duty versions all list having 8 gigs of RAM as a minimum, guys, a minimum. And 16 gigs as their recommendation, which means they are recommending you have 16 gigs of RAM to play the game. That's not talking about anything else that you might have going on outside of, running their program, right? If you plan to play low, moderately intensive games like League of Legends or Minecraft, then anything above 8 gigs will not yield you any in-game performance boost. While you can get away with just having 8 gigs of RAM, you will find that many of the more demanding modern games will start to freeze and stutter as they max out on 8 gig RAM limit. If your PC has 16 gigs of RAM, you can rest assured any modern gaming title will run smoothly. You will not be facing any significant FPS drops due to lack of RAM, as long as you're not utilizing a lot of other memory-intensive programs, right? Regarding budget and mid-range gaming solutions, you will be hard-pressed to justify the price increase from 16 to 32 gigs of RAM. I think whenever, we've been dealing with a lot of chip shortage and everything, so RAM prices got very expensive, but things are starting to come back down. And I would say just at least entertain what it would cost for you to go from 16 to 32. If you're building a new rig, entertain what it would take for you to go from 16 to 32 gigs of RAM. At the very least, plan for the future and allow yourself the ability to upgrade, right? It's kind of what I've done with this system here. I'm running 32 gigs, but I'm only running 32 gigs in 2 sticks, which means I can grab another 16 gigs of RAM to upgrade inside this PC very easily. All I gotta do, pop my heatsink off because it's in the way, throw my RAM sticks in to the empty slots that are there, and I've doubled my RAM, right? Another thing that I would advise is if you're going to be doing that kind of thing, do your very best to grab the exact same RAM that you're already running. That way you don't run into any kind of compatibility issues. It's not always going to happen, but you can run into some issues if you're running certain, size of RAM, speed of RAM, stuff like that, and then you throw in brand, make it all has its own kind of wonkiness to it. So stick to the exact same stuff. That's my advice. Stick to the exact same RAM. If you're gonna upgrade for the future, cool. You don't have to buy it right now. Plan for it. Leave yourself that space. Upgrade later, but use the same exact RAM. Save yourself a little bit of headache. Potential headache, anyways. Um, So this is what they're saying. The in-game FPS gain you will receive when upgrading from 16 to 32 gigs of RAM would be quite underwhelming. Almost all benchmarks comparing 16 gigs to 32 gigs of RAM often show just a couple of FPS increases for using 32 gigs of RAM. So to the average gamer, the only noticeable performance difference would be the speed and responsiveness when you're switching up between applications and multitasking during gameplay. Okay? Now, true. True. But again, what we're talking about here is the fact that more modern games, especially, are getting to where they're more memory intensive. So you're starting to see a change from, I think, what the standard it has been from 16 gigs for so long turn into 32 because the realm of where games are going and what they are more modern games anyways are more memory intensive, right? So it's not necessarily just about the performance you're getting in current games, but planning for the future of technology and what games are bringing to the table, what their requirements are going to be. Um, this ensure so pros of 32 gigabyte RAM for gaming ensures you have enough RAM to play any AAA titles in the next coming years. That's the big thing I'm trying to get across to people. Do you need 32 gigs right now if you're primarily just gaming? No, but plan for it because this is where it's going to come into play. And at this point, 64 gigs of RAM is really just overkill unless you're doing heavy multi tasking, all kinds of different programs open, very intensive like video editing, stuff like that. You're not going to need 64 gigs of RAM right now. But again, same thing like I said before. I've got 32 gigs in this, and if I feel the need to upgrade to 64, it's a very easy thing for me to do. You always plan for the future. You always want to be able to make it easy on yourself to be able to upgrade, right? So, I think we kind of got the gist of that there. I'm going to throw this in chat in case you guys are interested in taking a look. It's a pretty good article. Build yourselves some PCs, guys. Build yourselves some PCs. My advice. 10 days, 10 games, $10 Best Buy sale kicks off with Call of Duty Vanguard. Best Buy is in the midst of an anniversary sales event that includes a pretty fantastic sale on video games. For 10 days, Best Buy will roll out a featured game priced at only $10, and it starts with Vanguard. That's an insane deal that you can take advantage of right here until the end of the day. Today, which was yesterday. Just make sure you check out the latest deal each day through August 19th. Note that the PS4 Vanguard Standard Edition can be upgraded to a digital version for PS5 through the PlayStation Store. Xbox One version is playable on the Series X but cannot be upgraded. You can keep tabs on the latest Call of Duty Vanguard updates there. Okay, that's what Vanguard is. One second. Wow. All right, here you go, guys. So Best Buy sale right now for today is Neo 2 Standard Edition for PS4 and PS5. $10. So usually 40. You can get it for $10 right now on Best Buy, okay? If you don't have a Best Buy in your location and you're interested, let me know. I'll help you out. If you need Neo 2 for PlayStation 4 or 5, okay? I'll help you out. There you go. This should be the link for you guys if you want to keep tabs on what the new sales are each day. Looks like, we got like roughly 8 more days of sales on games. So we'll kind of try to keep track of that. Okay, keep moving. Um, yeah. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on PC makes me excited for Sony games again. When I got my review code for the PC version of Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, I was about to leave for a week-long vacation. Normally, that would be bad news with no gaming laptop. I'd have to wait till I got back home to test it out before rushing out some impressions in a few days, but that wasn't the case this time. In fact, the timing couldn't have been better thanks to my Steam Deck. While the PC version of Insomniac's hit superhero game comes with a list of flashy improvements, its Steam Deck verification status is the most exciting one. That meant I could take a supersized open world game on the go, casually poke away at it for minutes at a time, rather than sitting at my PS5 or PC for long sessions. As it turns out, that's the best way to play it, even if it means sacrificing some power to do so. While Marvel's Spider-Man isn't the first Sony game to hit Steam Deck, by the way of PC port, it reaffirms that this current era of flexible gaming is an especially perfect fit for Sony's brand of big budget open world extravaganza. For the first time in years, I'm more excited for that brand of gaming than I am exhausted. Open world out in the world. There's a reason I'm more focused on how Spider-Man runs on Steam Deck instead of a powerful PC. Frankly, my PS5 already is a powerful PC. No. Sure, the PC version brings new features like ultra wide monitor capability and NVIDIA DLSS support, but I don't think most players who experience it on PS5 will notice much of a difference, even with the boosts. It would have been a more notable feat had the 2018 game not gotten polished for PS5 previously. Rather than replaying the game at my rig, I decided to spend more time with it in a portable setting. I kicked back on a recliner at a beach house, and that sounds fantastic. Good for you. And started picking away at it while I had some wrestling on TV in the back. What are you doing at a beach house inside with screens in front of your face? If I'm at a beach house, dude, I'm going to be at the beach. Sorry. Within an hour, I found myself wishing that it's how I could have experienced it for the first time. What the? What? That's what I'm taking away from this article. From what I pulled up the article to address, what I'm taking away is that this individual goes to a beach house to sit in front of TV screens or video game screens. Jeebus, dude. Give me the beach. I love video games. Spider-Man is especially a great fit for portable devices thanks to his checklist-like approach to open-world activities. Players can swing into the game's version of New York for 10 minutes, get a fair amount done, stop a crime or two, locate a hidden backpack, or even just swing around for the thrill of it. As games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Super Mario Odyssey have shown, the best portable games are the ones where you can pop in for a few minutes, feel like you've accomplished something, but still have those more involved moments where you want to hunker down and bring it up on a TV. That's exactly how the original 2018 Spider-Man game functions. The cinematic opening fight against Kingpin is probably best enjoyed on a stable PC environment, running at a smooth frame rate. But as New York City becomes Peter Parker's playground, it's the perfect time to sync your cloud save to your Steam Deck, complete those little in-between tasks on the go. rather than obsessively jumping from map marker to map marker in a multi-hour sitting. Naturally, there's a trade-off to that experience. While the game runs exceptionally well on Steam Deck, it's not exactly a performance powerhouse there. The frame rate is a little all over the place. Seemed like the average got up to around 45 frames per second, which is lower than the consistent 60 you would get on a great PC. Or more. Personally, I was more than happy with that trade-off here. It was worth it to be able to play a high-quality open-world game like this while on vacation. At a beach house. I don't know. Maybe it's at night. Maybe they already had their beach day or whatever. I don't know. I hope Sony continues to get its game on PC at a faster pace. Me too. I want to play a game like the upcoming Spider-Man 2 in a more flexible way that isn't reliant on a good internet connection. In 2022, I just don't want to put a game I'm into down just because I'm out of town for a week. Sony doesn't even have to produce the hardware to make that happen. Just drop a port, let Valve handle the rest. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's the big difference. You know, Sony's made this real big commitment, and I agree. I think that's one of the great things that Valve has done with the Steam Deck, and it's a great piece of hardware. Everything that we found out about it, I haven't got my hands on one yet, but it seems to be just a fantastic um, mobile platform for PC gaming. You know, and games like Spider-Man seem to be a really nice fit for it. Now, again, I mean, one of the things you have to take into consideration is uh, battery life. If you're not able to sit there with it plugged in, Wick, what's up, dude? What's up, buddy? Uh, I don't, I don't think it's gonna work, man. We're having issues this morning. Twitch servers are are all over the place, and so it's gonna. My bot's finally working again, but yeah, yeah. Twitch servers are jacked, dude. My bot wasn't even working in the first place. Um, did you plug it in? No, no, nothing's plugged in. Just running on pure old uncooked corn power. Yep. No, so I did a little bit more research last night, man. I made some more tweaks and stuff to the PC. Uh, we'll see how Apex, dude. There's something about my hardware configuration that Apex does not like. There's, something about my hardware doesn't like about Apex, whichever way you want to go about saying it. But I haven't had a game to this point like do anything even remotely close to uh, maybe. No, I don't think that's it. I came across something else. I've been doing an amount of research online. I did some more work on it last night, and we'll see how it goes. Dude, I actually let me finish this sentiment up, and then we'll talk about it. How's your morning going, buddy? I think the big thing to take away here is uh, this individual nailed it with the like wanting more of the Sony to get their games to PC faster, right? Uh, Microsoft is absolutely killing it, which makes sense because they they make Windows, right? So their proprietary games, their Xbox only games, they also come out on PC at the same time. And that's what I want from Sony as well. I want Sony, they've made this dedicated uh, decision to start releasing their PC, their PlayStation only games on PC. I want them to be day one releases on PC as well. I don't want them to just be play, and I don't think it's going to happen ever. But that's what I want because I prefer to play my games on PC, and they make a lot of great games. Like God of War. So I think that Microsoft's always going to kind of have a bit of a, I don't know, in my eyes anyways, they're going to be just, as far as releasing their games that are proprietary or Xbox only titles, they always come out on PC as well. So, in my eyes, as a primarily PC gamer, Xbox is just doing a better job for gamers in general in allowing people to both play their games on either PC or their Xbox console. Whereas Sony has always traditionally just been like, you need to have our console, okay? You got to have our console. Um, I think they finally saw that during the chip shortage and everything, how much money they were losing out on by people not being able to buy the PS5, which meant they couldn't buy their proprietary titles, you know their PlayStation only titles, and they were like, okay, we got to start bringing stuff to PC too. But I don't ever think they're gonna really like day one release PlayStation only titles on PC as well. I just don't think they'll do it. So back to what I was talking about. Uh, Wick. Hope your day. How did the rest of your day yesterday go, dude? What else did you get into? Did you do anything? Did you just relax? Um, I hope you didn't work more. You needed a day to relax. So yeah, I don't know, man. Apex is just creating some funky issues with the PC. I I did some more looking at some of my hardware configurations and settings and things like that, and just did some research online to see what might be causing it specific to my hardware, and I came across a few different threads, blogs and stuff that I went through, and I got everything booted back up last night. Um, I took a solid, probably about an hour long look at. I started the stream back up, but I did it in you know a testing mode where nobody knew that I was live, but it was still streaming and everything. Just nobody knew that I was live. So I was testing everything out. I was running Apex. I was monitoring all my hardware, dude. Nothing ever got hot. It's definitely not a heat issue. I do a pretty good job at monitoring heat and stuff in the PC, anyways. But it's I think I'm narrowing it down to what the issue might be. But I did about an hour long test, which isn't long enough last night. But I'd made some changes. I did an hour long test with everything running I would normally be running while streaming the game and everything too. No heat issues, anything like that, and everything was fine, man. So I'm gonna have to play some more and see if I end up running into more crashes now that I've made some more changes and see what it is. Um, One of the things I came across was some particular issues regarding certain memory settings. So RAM settings, right? So I did a little bit of online research yesterday and went in and made a few changes to my rig and yeah, I mean it's absolutely just like, but it's apparently a thing that is happening. It's happened to other people too, just specific to certain kinds of hardware configurations and stuff. So again, I mean that's the thing. I talk about it a lot. It's obviously easier to develop games for console than it is for PC, right? Because with console, you get everything's kind of locked in. You're creating games, you're developing games for a very specific set of hardware. Whereas, you develop games for PC, it's different, man. You get so many different kinds of configurations of hardware and stuff like that. That sometimes things just get wonky. And I think the thing that's at least nice is that I was able to confirm that I'm not the only person that's Dodge Ram that's had this that's had this issue, you know. And so at least that's the case. I'm not the only person. I mean, dude, but it does. It straight up. I know right away when it happens too, because it's like stutter. I hit a bunch of stutter, and it just sends my PC into a restart. I've never had another game do it, and it's not like Apex is the most, you know, hardware intensive game I've ever played either. You know, so I don't know. It's just something real wonky with what the game does with my specific hardware configuration, and so I went in and made some changes, and I'll keep working on it if I keep dealing with it. You know, it feels bad, but that's just part of it. Again, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that I try to, and I know not everybody's comfortable with it, but I really try to get people to entertain the idea of diving a bit more into just working with technology and PCs and stuff in general, especially if you're considering, you know, if you game a lot, if you are considering being a content creator, a broadcaster, anything like that, the more you can understand the ins and outs of hardware, the way it works, any kind of troubleshooting, I think just the better off people are. Is it always easy to figure out? No, but the more comfortable you are troubleshooting things and researching things and messing around with stuff to try to figure stuff out, I think that the easier it is on you, you know? And I mean, that's what I'm dealing with right now with Apex. It's a weird situation. I've never really seen anything like it. I've never had a game just like constantly be crashing out in the PC, but it's definitely Apex. Nothing else has done this. It's every time I play Apex, it does it. So I don't know. We'll figure it out though. I'll get it. It's a little bit frustrating, but you know, we'll just keep pushing. We'll get it figured out. Xbox is accusing Sony of paying developers Game Pass block fees. The company claims Sony is trying to inhibit growth of its subscription service. Huh. Part of a document sent to Brazil's Administrative Council for Economic Defense to justify its proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard, the Xbox firm claimed that Sony actively attempts to inhibit growth of Game Pass by trying to prevent content appearing on it. The comments are part of Microsoft's response to Sony's claims to the Brazilian body, which makes much of its responses public, that Xbox acquiring Call of Duty would be anti-competitive. Considering that exclusivity strategies have been at the core of Sony's strategy to strengthen its presence in the games industry, and that Sony is a leader in the distribution of digital games, Sony's concern with possible exclusivity of Activision's content is incoherent, to say the least, Microsoft claims in the documents published by Cade. It only reveals once again a fear about an innovative business model that offers high quality content at low cost to gamers, threatening a leadership that has been forged from a device-centric and exclusivity-focused strategy over the years. It then claims, indeed, Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been obstructed by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth. Sony pays for blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services. These kinds of platform deals have been common in the games industry, and reference was even made to PlayStation blocking third-party games appearing on Game Pass in docs revealed as part of last year's Epic versus Apple lawsuit. The remainder of its response and two further claims under the same section are redacted in the document, presumably for confidentiality purposes. Elsewhere in the document, Microsoft claimed that Sony does not want attractive subscription services to threaten its dominance in the digital distribution market for console games, arguing, quote, in other words, Sony rails against the introduction of new monetization models capable of challenging its business model. Last month, Sony was one of a number of third-party companies, including Bandai Namco and Ubisoft, that submitted their opinions to Cade on the pending Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Sony claimed that the acquisition could influence users to switch to Xbox because it is, quote, an essential game, a blockbuster, a AAA type game that has no rival. Microsoft's head of gaming, Phil Spencer, I like Phil, confirmed in January that it was his intention to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation platforms should Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard be completed? Intent. This is the thing, though, right? I mean, this is the game that's played. And look, I mean, everything that I know and hear come from quoted that comes from Phil Spencer makes me think that this individual actually is a very passionate gamer himself, right? So that's one of the reasons that I tend to. I really enjoy a lot of the things that I hear coming out of Xbox is because of this individual specifically, as opposed to a lot of the big developers still, where it just seems like a lot of money, money, money. You know, that's it. That's it. Uh, but at the same time, intention is different than like promising something, right? However, it was later claimed that Activision Blizzard is contractually committed to releasing only the next three Call of Duty games for PlayStation consoles, including this year's Modern Warfare 2. We'll see how this plays out. Look, I don't think they're going to be able to stop the acquisition. I really don't. And I hope they don't because I really want Microsoft to take on Activision Blizzard. I think that if anybody's going to buy that company and make it change for the better, it's going to be Microsoft. So that's why I want to see it happen. I'm not, it's bad for competition, but ultimately, I think it's for the better. Video game company Unity Software wins contract to help U.S. government defense. Okay. Video game software company Unity. Unity, dude, has been all over the place here lately. Signed its biggest contract yet to provide its digital simulation technology in support of the U.S. government. On Tuesday, Unity announced a 3-year, multi-million dollar partnership with information technology firm CACI International Incorporation, or Incorporated, which has provided aerial surveillance and other military intelligence to government branches. Known for its eponymous game engine, which provides a software that runs dozens of top video games, Unity is betting its next wave of growth will come from marketing its real-time 3D platform to non-gaming industries as part of its digital twin strategy. Automotive manufacturers, factory designers, and even real estate developers can visualize and study digital incarnations of their creations using the Unity game engine. Recently, the company has helped clients visualize and study the movements of people, like with its simulation of the Hong Kong airport. Um, The military has used Unity software to visualize plane runways attacked by live munitions and train drones on identifying ordnance. Sorry. CACI has held multi-million and billion-dollar contracts to support the U.S. Army and Customs and Border Protection. CACI was awarded a $1.4 billion contract with the Defense Threat Reduction Agency to counter and deter weapons of mass destruction. CACI didn't respond to a request for comment, and Unity declined to comment. Okay. Unity, man, all over the place right now. Genshin Impact to become the most expensive video game as it nears second anniversary in 2022. New future insights provided by Sensor Tower. Genshin Impact is Hoyoverse's flagship RPG released in September of 2020. The game is available on mobile, PC, and consoles. It follows the gacha mechanics as its monetization process. Game has seen significant success all over the world since its release. According to recent reports, we have now seen that the incoming second anniversary in September, Genshin is set to become the most expensive video game in history. Since its release, we have seen Genshin Impact breaking extensive records in the gaming market. The game has seen outstanding success with thousands of players joining the game monthly. According to the latest statistics, Genshin has almost an amount of 65 million active players coming into this month. During the initial development phase, Genshin had a development budget of 100 million US during its release in 2020. In February of 2021, a presentation from the official showed that the game is supposed to cost US 200 million per year for the game's development plans. Fast forward to 2 years of release, the game is on its way to being the most expensive game ever made, with an estimated total cost of 500 million US dollars. The calculations were made by a Redditor called Kira Faith. MiHoYo will mainly spend the estimated budget behind the development of the game. The development plan includes major story updates, new characters, new regions, in-game events, crossovers, etc. Return on investment is also high. According to statistics shared on the Redditor, Genshin holds 67% of the total gacha market. Previously, market researchers have seen the game-breaking record of the highest-grossing game in the first year, as it passed the US 3.5 billion revenue mark within 1 year of its release. The game is said to have earned 567 million during the first quarter of 2022. Wow. Like double lineage. Over double lineage. According to a report by Sensor Tower, Genshin is earning US 1 billion every 6 months. After launching on mobile, the title generated 3 billion US till now, across both Google and Apple's App Store, I think. Genshin has successfully kept the free-to-play player base happy despite being a gacha game, which is a tough thing to balance. Players spend an estimated amount of 98.41 US dollars in what? I don't think that's stated correctly. The high investment in the game has certainly paid off for MiHoYo. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, this is a very, 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 very well developed game, though. Very well developed game. Um, I tried it out when it first came out. Uh, it's not the kind of game to keep me engaged, really, but it I can see its potential to keep many people, especially as they continue to roll out new content and things like that. It's a very, very well developed game. It really is. They're killing it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game developers tease Grandpa's role in the game. Grandpa! Gun Interactive's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game is slashing our way next year, with Leatherface, the cook, and the hitchhiker already confirmed as characters. Also in the mix, players will have to deal with Grandpa Sawyer. Get ready for Grandpa. The oldest member of the family, introduced in Toby, is that Toby? Toby Hooper's original classic, What Role Will Grandpa Play? While Leatherface and the other members of the family will likely be the ones doing the slashing, gun teases this afternoon, the Grandpa's role will be a little bit different. Hammer us with your theories on Grandpa's role, the team tweeted out today, leading fans to speculate on various different ways the character may be involved in the gameplay. You gotta feed him, one fan guessed, while another wondered if he'll be serving as something of a monitor alert system. Several other fans have guessed that Grandpa will be included as a way of finishing off survivors, with other family members presenting captured players to Grandpa in much the same fashion he was utilized in Hooper's 1974 Nightmare. The game will feature classic villains from the movies as well as new family members, and the events of the Chainsaw game will take place before Toby Hooper's original classic. Kane Hodder is playing Leatherface, and Ed Neal, who played the hitchhiker in Toby Hooper's original horror classic, will be reprising the role in the upcoming game. Nice. Here's the plot synopsis. A group of 5 young adults led by Anna Flores set out to search for her missing sister. What they found was terror beyond their wildest nightmares. Grandpa! Nice. All right, dude. Oh, I like this too. That's cool. Yo, that ought to be cool. That ought to be cool. Review: Melbourne made video game Cult of the Lamb ticks every box. Yo, this game looks really, really cool. It's also a Devolver published game. Devolver, they publish, obviously, if you're not familiar with Devolver is known for, sticking to publishing kind of quirky, weird, funny, dark kind of games. And it looks like Cult of the Lamb is right up their alley. So I'm not surprised that Devolver decided that this was a game they wanted to publish, And the game looks really, really cool. And it is definitely that. It looks dark. It looks funny, cute, wild. All those kind of meshed into one. We're warned of cults. Nothing good ever comes out of them. But when it comes to video games, almost anything goes, right? Cult, by definition, is a fairly small religious group, especially one which is considered strange. And boy, strange is an absolute understatement here. Cult of the Lamb was created by the team at Massive Monster, which is spread across Melbourne and Malaysia. Did you ever see Happy Tree Friends in the early 2000s? Well, Cult of the Lamb is Happy Tree Friends, but taken to the next level. It's also seemingly a hybrid of some of the best games of the last few years. Hades, Animal Crossing, Dead Cells, Stardew Valley, and Death's Door all mashed together to create brilliance. Cult of the Lamb sees a cute, fluffy lamb destined for death, saved by an unknown satanic being known as the One Who Waits. The lamb was saved, but the trade-off: you must start a cult and grow a following in its name. There are a few ways to play the game. Create the evilest cult possible, punishing and sacrificing your cute followers for next to no reason other than to gain more power. Right. Create a loyal cult that worships you for all the good you do. The good. Lastly, you can stay somewhere in the middle, sacrifice here and there, but largely treat your followers with love and respect. In my first playthrough, I chose the latter. Of course, I wanted to grow my cult in the most productive way, but honestly, I felt guilty killing off my followers. No way. Sacrifice. Despite the sacrificial nature of the game, as I mentioned, it doesn't have to be played that way. To my partner's great relief, she hated the thought of sacrificing a cute, wide-eyed animal for evil gain. Your followers once saved can be named and have their appearance customized. Nice! Oh, this is great for the channel, the community. There are dozens of great little character skins. You could choose to have an entire cult of bee followers or turtles. You can just keep them how they looked when you rescued them. Or you can just keep them how they looked when you rescued them. The followers will help you grow your camp into a village by doing your every bidding. To find more followers, you need to set out on a crusade, and here's where it gets intense. Combat in this game is very similar to Death's Door or Hades, with a gear system not too dissimilar to Dead Cells. Each crusade run is essentially a reset, and will see you pick up a new weapon and magic ability, or curse. Sorry, excuse me. Roll, slash, and cast curses at your enemies until the room is clear. Then collect your reward from the magic chest and move into the next room. The boss battles get tougher the further you make it through the game's story. These Jabba the Hutt... Yo, Size, what's up? What's up, buddy? How are you, man? Thanks for the raid, dude. Welcome in, everybody. The boss battles get tougher the further you make it through the game's story. These Jabba the Hutt-like bosses transform into some kind of Resident Evil nightmare. Main bosses usually follow the same formula, blasting hundreds of deadly fireballs and spawning enemies like they're going out of fashion. You can get chaotic in the best way. Each little crusade took me around 10 to 15 minutes, which includes entering every room and smashing it to bits to get as many resources as possible. Your weapons and curses get better the larger your cult grows, and your followers' faith allows you to upgrade those abilities. If you love games with collectibles and upgrades, keep reading. Along your journey, you'll find new resources, from farming seeds to lumber, gold, and stone. All these things can be used to build and upgrade your cult camp, and it's there I had the most fun. The further you progress through the game, the more resources you unlock. When it comes to farming, you start off with the basics, unlocking different kinds of crops along the way, starting with a humble berry bush and working your way up to pumpkins, beetroots, and mushrooms and cauliflower. Farming in the game starts off slow, but being able to eventually upgrade your farms and farming equipment, speed things up, and automate them was incredibly satisfying. Excuse me. All the food you grow is used to make meals for your followers. You need to make sure their hunger levels stay at a healthy level, or else they'll all get sick and subsequently die before you can sacrifice them, of course, right? Size, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Dozens of meals on the menu, starting out with a bowl of grass. I don't want to spoil this too much. What up, brah? Yeah, so the game is available on all platforms on August 12th, including Switch. And despite reviewing Cult of the Lamb on PC, I'd say it's a perfect Switch title. There's already one DLC available for launch, the Cultist Pack, an extra $7, which gives you skins and decorations. So, just cosmetics. While there are no details, there's already confirmation of 2 substantial content updates for the future. Cult of the Lamb is beyond adorable. It's funny. It's creative. The art style is a standout, and it's without a doubt one of my favorite games of 2022. I've been actually hyped about this for a while. We might start playing this on the weekend. We might start playing Cult of the Lamb on the weekend while we keep playing Witcher. I've really been looking forward to this game a lot, and it looks absolutely wild, dark, funny, and just looks like it could be a lot of fun. So we might start playing this weekend. Play a little bit of this, play a little bit of Apex, and then keep playing Witcher too. We'll see. This looks like it could be a lot of fun. You know what? If you guys want to read more about it, I didn't read everything because I don't want to know everything about the game right now. Witcher 2? Wait, what? What do you mean? No. Play The Witcher as well. While we play The Witcher through the week. So we'll keep playing The Witcher 3 through the week, if that's what you meant. And then no. I meant also. We'll play The Witcher 2. Also. 2. T-O-O. Right. Also. Which? Yeah, no. We'll play The Witcher. We'll keep playing The Witcher 3 as well, is what I meant. The Witcher also. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, size. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. PS4 reaches final sales total, guys. Can't even click that link. What? What do you mean can't click that link? What are you talking about, dude? I just clicked it. Mamselle, what's up? You might not be able to click that link because, you've got issues, man. It works for me. Yo, thanks, Wick. Thanks, man. Yeah. If you guys are not familiar with Size's channel, check it out right there. Thank you, Wick. Thanks for doing that, buddy. Oh my god, dude. This is what is happening to the channel. Oh my gosh. All right. Sony's PS4 console has now reached its final sales total. Since first releasing back in 2013, the PS4 has gone on to become one of the best-selling video game platforms of all time. If I remember correctly, PS2 is the best-selling console of all time, right? With the PS5 now being Sony's primary console, though, PS4 sales have naturally started to wane in recent years. As a result, Sony says it will no longer be counting any additional sales of the PS4 moving forward, which means that the console has now reached its lifetime sales total. You guys are beautiful. Stop it. No, you are. You are. As noted by industry analyst Daniel Ahmad, Sony has opted to no longer publicly report the sales and shipments of the PS4 console moving forward. Because of this, yeah, size. Because of this, it means that the lifetime sales of the PS4 now sit at a little more than 117 million as of March 2022. Moving forward, the PS4 will likely still continue to sell a couple 100,000 more units, but since Sony won't report that data, we'll never know the specific number of consoles that were sold. As such, this 117 million number will end up becoming the lifetime sales total that is attached to the PS4. Overall, the PS4 now stands as the fourth best-selling video game platform ever, only following Game Boy, Game Boy Color, DS, and the PlayStation 2. PS2 still happens to be the most successful video game console ever at selling over 155 million units total. Yep, PS2, man. What a great console also. In the near future, the PS4 will likely end up being passed by the Switch in lifetime sales. Despite having been around for much less time, the Switch has already sold a staggering 111 million units around the globe. Considering that sales for the console aren't slowing down at all, it seems like only a matter of time until the Switch passes the PS4 and drops the latter platform into fifth all-time in sales. Yep, so there you go. It did very well. Like they said, it's still going to sell probably 300,000-400,000 more consoles, but it just won't be counted. It won't be worth the resources to keep doing that kind of thing. Keeping track, anyways. Saints Row gameplay overview trailer highlights. This is the last article I have for today, by the way. Again, I had to start the stream late. I had some really bad issues connecting with Twitch's server this morning. So chat wasn't working. There was all kinds of wonky issues. Chat finally came back up, but I don't have one of my plugins isn't working. I won't be able to get it back up until after the news segment. I'm gonna have to take the stream down and bring it back up before we start gameplay. So, but this will be the last article I have for the morning. I apologize for having to start late. It was just some really weird stuff happening this morning, trying to get stuff connected to Twitch's servers. So, if you guys have anything else that you're aware of for pertinent for the video gaming industry that I haven't hit on, let me know in chat and I'll address it before we end the segment today, okay? Yep. It's probably not working, Size. It's probably not working, dude. Yeah. That's my plugin that I use for all of the my app that I use couldn't connect to Twitch's servers this morning. My chat wasn't connected. Nothing is working right now. So sorry, dude. I'll try to refund that. Give me a second. I've got some refunding to do. Yeah. So that's why I need to restart the I think the servers finally started letting things connect while we did the news segment, but I had to just start the channel up and get the news done. But we were like 25 minutes late. I was trying to get stuff figured out. Boop. Oh my glob, dude. This is insane. What a backlog. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Wait, what? Always try to pretend? Shut that out. Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, yeah, it was just really weird. Like, and the app that I use for all the redemptions and everything, I have to connect it to Twitch before I even pull up OBS and everything, and it would not connect. Like nothing was working this morning. So I'll get this done. We'll take the stream down for a second. I'll get everything connected because it looks like things might have worked themselves out at this point. Chat's working. My bot is back working again. I just wanted to get the news done and try to see if things would work themselves out. So it looks like things have kind of smoothed out with Twitch's servers. So hopefully it'll reconnect. But let's get this done. Let me know if you guys have anything else pertinent for the video gaming news segment, and then we'll move on. Okay. Saints Row gameplay overview, trailer highlights, factions, and characters. Deep Silver Volition, developer of Saints Row, has released a new gameplay overview trailer for the upcoming video game. Anyone who perhaps isn't familiar with the Saints Row franchise formula or the ways in which the reboot changes things up can give the 5-minute video a watch to better understand exactly what might be waiting for them when the video game launches on August 23rd for PlayStation 5, 4, Xbox Series X, S1, and PC. In addition to broadly giving an idea of what Saints Row is all about, there is actually a little something for everyone in the new gameplay video overview trailer. In addition to the previously revealed factions of Los Panteros, the idols and martial defense technologies, the trailer offers a look at yet another faction that lives out in the desert. Check out the new trailer for the Saints Row reboot for yourself embedded below. We'll watch it. Let's watch it real quick. Warning, potentially sensitive content. All right. Let's watch. Also, if this has to be muted for YouTube upload, I'm sorry. It's just the way it is sometimes. Rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Yeah, fuck that, you don't stop. Might not have been long enough for me to need to mute it, but we'll see. It was never going to be, size, no worries, buddy. It was never going to be an easy task for the developers to pick up the Saints Row franchise once more after almost a decade. Every new story needs a place to launch from, and Saints Row looks to be heading in just as wild a direction as the franchise was previously. If you can square that into your mind, it's easy to have a good time. New Saints Row is set to release for PS4, PS5, Series X, S1, and PC via the Epic Game Store on August 23rd. So we're talking like just under a couple of weeks from now, guys, yeah? You can check out all the previous coverage here. I'll link this in chat, all right? So take a look. I know that there have been an amount of people that are kind of turned off in regards to where Saints Row is pivoting to, right? But it's been a good amount of time since the last Saints Row came out. And I think that basically what Deep Silver, it was Deep Silver, right? They're the dev. Yeah, Deep Silver. I think the thing to take into consideration here is kind of along the same lines of what we've talked about before in certain series, game series feeling like they need to be a bit revamped or refreshed, and have a new spin put on them. As sometimes that means just a bit of a new twist in the traditional story of the game, such as what we're kind of hearing about might be coming to a series like Tomb Raider, right? Where no longer it sounds like is Lara Croft going to be this solo individual for the most part. It's a group of Tomb Raiders, which is throwing people off. That is not what the Lara Croft and the Tomb Raider story has traditionally been. And there are a lot of, fans of that world and that story and those games that are a bit peeved at what might be happening there. And I think you find the same thing with what's happening in a series like Saints Row, right? Saints Row has a following. It's got some people that are grew up with the games and really loved what they were. But it's been a while since the Saints Row came out, and I think that the dev took a nice look at maybe the fact that the series had started to feel a bit dated, maybe a bit stagnant, and they wanted to revamp it into something that felt a bit more fresh and new. Yeah, and you can't really even though the game, I'll say the game is not does not appeal to me very much. You can't really harp on a developer for trying to do something new. When quite often nowadays it feels like what we see from a developer is consistently failing to bring new stuff to the table and just consistently releasing basically the same game reskinned in a new environment. Assassin's Creed, things like that, where it's just a safe play for a developer. You know, for them to try and completely take something and even if it is an old IP and change it into something new and fresh, I feel like isn't necessarily a totally a bad move. Is it going to work out? Time will tell. But feels like more and more, especially with large AAA developers, they are not able to successfully continuing to be able to produce new IPs. They tend to continue to fall on those old IPs like they're just comfortable with, and they're not doing anything to really change a whole lot about what's going on with those that they keep leaning on, right? It's just make it a new environment. Make it, they don't do a whole lot, but slap a new title on it. It's Assassin's Creed 542. I mean, that's the way it seems, anyways. And when they do try to come up with something new, it gets delayed and delayed and delayed, or it gets, totally scratched. So seeing a developer try to refresh an old IP, I think it is good. Hopefully it is a good take on making an older IP feel a bit more modern. Hopefully it appeals to the gaming community. It doesn't look like something I'm planning on diving into, but we'll see how it goes. That's what I have for gaming today. Video gaming news, guys. Thanks. I'm sorry I had to start it late. Some really, really weird stuff with Twitch servers this morning, but we're going to get it all sorted out. It looks like things are working a bit better now. If you are enjoying the content and you're watching this as a VOD on YouTube later, see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself and all the other amazing individuals that are part of this community when we go live every single day at 6 o'clock CST, 6 o'clock a.m. CST, where we start every single stream off with video gaming news before we hop into whatever gameplay we have scheduled for the day, okay? Also consider hitting that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. And I guess we'll just see everybody tomorrow for August 12th edition of Video Gaming News. All right?